Yesterday, USA. For the good times. For the good times. For the good times.
This is Fred Foy. Join us now as we travel back in time and relive some of the magic that was part of the golden age of radio. It's time now for another episode of The Glowing Dial, here on Yesterday, USA.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting. Use Gritto, radio friends. The soap that gives your hands that dishpan look. How will the old man know you've been working if your hands don't have that dishpan look? Put a box of Gritto in a glass of water. Then listen to it fizz. Dopes. Remember, Gritto spelled sideways is Atragagur. And now Gritto's own story of Sandra Sandpile in Here's Mud in Your Eye. Music.
I heard you on the wireless back in 52. Lying awake intently tuning in on you. If I was young, it didn't stop you coming through. They took the credit for your second symphony. Rewritten by machine on new technology. And now I understand the problems you could see. I met your children. What did you tell them?
Video killed the radio star. Video killed the radio star.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another fantabulous edition of The Glowing Dial here on Yesterday, USA. I'm your host, Big John Matthews, along with Steve, Archiver Bannock, sitting over there in my nice, comfy, heated, vibrating chair. Of course, it's not vibrating right now. Speak, sir.
Arf, arf.
Not so close to the mic, if you don't mind, sir.
Oh, all right.
Yes. As I fade out on our opening song there, that, if you ever wonder, that is Video Killed the Radio Star by the Buggles. Kind of a retro 80s, early 80s, wasn't it? One of that songs.
Yeah, 80, 81 maybe?
Yeah.
Somewhere
But
around there.
I thought that it felt to me like the words meant a lot.
I like the video for it myself. I remember
I don't
that
believe I've
back to
ever
the
seen
old
that.
MTV days, the video for that one.
Probably one of the first ones they showed. I suppose.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was the very first video they
Yeah,
ever
it had that
aired
doesn't
on
it?
the
Okay,
station.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
Well, anyway, we've got a fantabulous show for you today. We're going to be catching up on some letters, but that's not going to be until the next edition. It's not this time around. We don't have the time for it,
Aw.
but we do want to acknowledge all of you that take the time to write to us. And we're getting some Christmas cards in, so we want to thank you all for that. But do stay tuned, because toward the end of the program, we're going to have a good friend of ours tell you how you can get in touch with us. So somewhere during the course of the program, grab a writing implement and something to write with, and we'll give you that information.
Is this person getting in touch with us a psychic?
No, we have nothing to do with those phony psychic networks.
Oh, you said getting in touch. I mean, it's like, they'll reach out and touch you or something.
No, they won't. I'll touch them back, I tell you.
If you try and touch them, they're going to charge you, what, $3.99 a minute or something?
That's the cheap ones, my friend, the cheap ones. Anyway, we've got a program to bring. We've got two wonderful old-time radio shows to bring you, and Mr. Urbanik is going to announce the first one.
Yes. Oh, we have a special one here first. I like it when we have special shows.
Well, tell me about it.
This one's an audition program, so it's the only one around. Ooh.
As far as we know, at least in this collection.
Yes, at least in our collection. And I've never heard of the show, and we don't have much information on it. It's not
We've
even
heard
in
of
the books.
TV show. There was a very successful TV show using this character, starring Fess Parker.
Yes. Well, actually,
Yeah,
it was a real historical figure. Daniel Boone
Yes.
is the figure. and had a popular television show in the 60s with Fess Parker in it.
And
Also in movies.
as his Indian friend, we had Ed Ames,
Mm-hmm.
who was great at throwing a tomahawk toward the crotch area of a person. Well,
Mr.
actually,
Carson.
Yes, remember that classic Johnny Carson sketch where Ed Ames threw the tomahawk and went thump where no tomahawk should go.
Ed Ames is part Indian, so.
Yes, he is.
Right.
Which
So, anyway, back to the information about
yes,
the
let's
show.
control the show.
The show's actual title, an audition program, is Daniel Boone, Indian Scout. And
Mm-hmm.
the date is August 16th, 1948.
Okay.
That's all we know about it.
That's well, we're going to roll it. If you would reach over to our friend the McGee Machine.
Oh, yes, our
Yes,
contest winner, the
yes.
McGee Machine.
Subtitled The Golden Memory Machine. You reach over there
Yes,
and
I am.
click it. All right, very good.
I had to get out of this white, nice, comfy chair, which vibrates. Well, at least
The
when
comfy
I'll turn it
chair.
on after the show gets underway.
All right, there it goes. So sit back, close your eyes, and remember Daniel Boone, Indian Scout from 1948, and we'll be back at you.
I doubt they'll remember.
In Cherokee, it's Kawinga Wakiwa. In Sioux, it's Salpokewis. In Pawnee, it's Sakau Primakot. And in American, it's Daniel Boone, Indian Scout. Against the stirring background of American history, out of America's flaming past and into your home tonight, blazing a trail of mystery and adventure, Daniel Boone, Indian Scout. April 1755. Along a forest road, a white horse gallops swiftly, a blur of white against the green, urged on by a young rider whose tri-cornered hat is jammed down over his clubbed hair, whose military cape streams behind him in the wind. Shortly, the forest path opens into a clearing on the Potomac River. The rider pulls his horse in, canters past the tents of His Britannic Majesty's Army, past log cabins and other rude dwellings, drawing rein at last before a house more spacious than the rest. The place is Fredericktown, Virginia. The house is the headquarters of Major General Edward Braddock of His Majesty's Army. Leaping from his horse, the young man bounds up the steps of the porch and into the house.
Sink me, Mr. Franklin, if I tolerate this pernicious business another day, another hour. Sink me, I say, Sonny Piper. Hello, who's this? Why, Colonel Washington, as I breathe.
General Braddock?
Well, Colonel, you at least arrive when you say you will. Far more than I can say for the supplies your fellow Americans promised me. You know Mr. Franklin, do you?
By name only. The name of Benjamin Franklin is notorious in Virginia.
As you can see, General Braddock, I am not beloved in Virginia. That is because I am from Pennsylvania.
Oh, sink me, man. I don't care where you're from. If you can secure me the supplies I require.
I have already promised you the supplies, General. 150 wagons containing loaf sugar, good green tea, chocolate, flour, raisins, and spirits. The question seems to be, how are we to transport them here? Perhaps now that your aide, Colonel Washington, has arrived, he can answer it where I have failed.
I can try. What is the problem, General?
We need those supplies desperately, Colonel Washington, and quickly. If our advance against the French at Fort Duquesne is not to be slowed. Now, if I understand, Mr. Franklin, these wagons and an equivalent number of horses, I am right about the horses, am I not, Mr. Franklin?
Well, to transport the wagons without the horses, General, would be a problem I doubt even Colonel Washington could master.
Eh? Oh, yes, quite. Well then, Colonel, these wagons will be assembled at a point near Philadelphia. The fly in the arm is this. Once these wagons leave Philadelphia for Fredericktown, Beaujeu is bound to hear of it. And he and his wolf pack of Indian savages are certain to attack them.
The answer seems simple enough, General. I should be happy to lead a detachment.
Not likely. Oh, sink me not likely, Colonel Washington. The colonial promised that my supplies should be delivered to me here. And here they shall be delivered by the colonials. I refuse absolutely to turn a hand to that account.
But, General...
Enough! I know what you must think, Colonel Washington. That I am being foolishly obstinate, absurdly inflexible. But you, sir, have not been plagued as I've been these past weeks by the inefficiency of your fellow colonials. They found here nothing but disorder, wilderness, not a single road fit for military transport. I've been constantly vexed by lack of men, incessantly tormented by the lack of supplies. It was understood, thoroughly understood, that these I should have, that they should be waiting when I landed. Well, sir, they were not waiting when I landed, nor have they arrived here despite the promises. No, sir, I have had a bellyful. Mr. Franklin may have the supplies, but I shall not stir one hand to bring them here, nor one foot toward Fort Duquesne until they are brought here. It is a problem for the colonies. And since you are colonials, I leave the solution to you.
I hardly know what to say, General. Hello. What's that?
Well, there's some excitement without. Perhaps we'd best see. After you, General Braddock.
Kyo. I say.
General Braddock,
Someone bringing in a captive. And a captive Indian at that.
Egad. How long since we've been capturing Red Indians?
Look there, General. He's prodding the redskin before him with the barrel of a long rifle. Who is that man?
I'll be bound if I know. Captain.
General Braddock, sir.
Tell that man to come here.
Very good, General.
Outsort that chap, what? Tall as a... what are those trees over there?
Pine trees, General.
Oh, yes. Tall as a pine tree. And equally as straight. But what's that monstrosity he's wearing on his head?
That's a coonskin hat, General.
You don't say. Oh, monstrous.
Here's the man, General.
Ah, good. Now, what is your name, fellow?
Boone, General. Daniel Boone.
No? Native of these parts, are you?
I reckon not, General. I was born in Pennsylvania.
I thought as much. You have the look of a Pennsylvanian.
What do you then in this part of the colonies?
I'm a wagoner and blacksmith in your army, General.
How's that again?
I said I'm a wagoner and a blacksmith in your army, sir.
I don't think I quite understand you, fellow. I assumed you could not be attached to His Majesty's forces inasmuch as I gave express orders less than 48 hours ago that no red savage, if come upon, was to be taken alive. You're quite sure you're a wagoner in this army?
Well, General, a musket ball hits better if it's shot straight, so I always like to get to the point. I am attached to your army, and it seems like I disobeyed orders in not shooting that redskin when I collared him spying on our camp.
Spying?
It appears like it. He's an Onondaga, and Bojo's got about 800 of them up at Fort Duquesne.
Well, you seem knowledgeable as well as refractory. How is it, fellow, that you come upon a red savage spying upon our camp, and yet against my particular orders you did not kill him?
I guess you might say I like Indians too much, General.
You like Indians?
Well, yeah, General. They're people, you know, just like you and me.
Are they indeed, fellow? I must say...
If you'll allow me, General...
I must say, sink me if you colonials are not the most insolent
General,
faggots.
if you will permit...
You will permit me, Colonel! I will handle this matter in my own fashion. You, fellow.
General?
You will now do what should have been done when first you encountered yonder savage. You will shoot him, sir. That is an order.
You mean you want me to shoot that Indian in cold blood?
You have heard the order correctly. Obey it.
I couldn't do that, General.
You will do it, my friend, or enjoy the consequences of your refusal at dawn tomorrow.
If you mean you intend to have me shot, General, well, I reckon that's the way it'll have to be. I've never killed a man that didn't try to kill me first, and I don't aim to start now.
Insolence! Captain, seize up this man at once. He is to be executed at dawn.
His face flushed with burgundy with anger, General Braddock turns and storms into his headquarters, followed by Colonel Washington and Mr. Benjamin Franklin, while Daniel Boone, age 21, a wagoner in His Britannic Majesty's army, and a man who will not obey a heartless order, is led off to the guardhouse.
In there.
Well, what they get you in here for, Sonny?
Huh? Who are you, old-timer?
Don't call me old-timer.
Well, don't call me Sonny.
You're young enough.
You're old enough.
That decides it, execution or no execution. I'm shaving off these whiskers afore dawn. Make me look out powerful lot older than I am.
You're no chicken, Gramps. Whiskers or no whiskers.
Now stop that.
Well, you started it.
All right, leave it be. Who are you?
Boone's my name. Daniel Boone.
Oh, Daniel. Yeah, I've heard of you.
You have?
Sure as my name is Longbow Billy.
Longbow Billy? You?
Yeah, the same.
But I thought Longbow Billy was a young man.
I am young, dang it. Let me for an hour, and if I don't shave these whiskers off force enough, they make me look a lot older than I am.
Well, Longbow, young or old, I'm proud to meet up with you.
You can put a double arrow to your string on that one, Sonny. Beg your pardon, Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
Proud to meet up with you, too. Have some butter candy.
Butter candy?
Make it myself. Take some butter, flop it in the pan. Add sugar, heat the whole mess, and stir. When it cools off, you got butter candy. Have some.
Well, thanks for holding here.
Don't be. Got to get rid of it. They're shooting me in the morning. They could have me with a bowstring, and if I'd given any of my butter candy away to them redcoats. Lot of heads, pea brains. To think that tomorrow at dawn they're executing the only man in this whole blamed army that's got any brains.
Oh, well, now, it's nice of you to say that, Longbow.
Huh?
Well, I mean, I'm not the only man in the army.
You? Who's talking about you? I'm talking about me, Longbow Billy.
Oh.
They catch me laughing, they did. Couldn't help myself. We're standing amongst some hickory springs, watching this fool redcoats drilling for the battle as to come with the French and Indians at Fort Decay. There they are, the sun gleaming gold on their helmets, redcoats, clay piping, every last son of a gun a target a babe could hit, marching up and down, up and down. He off, the captain cries, and they stop. He off, the captain cries again, and with a snap and a slap, their muskets come down to ready. He off again, cries the captain, and they aim. So help me heaven above, by that time they'll be riddled with French bullets and cut to shreds with Injun arrows. So I'm laughing fit to kill, when a voice behind me begs to inquire what I'm laughing at. It's the colonel attached to Braddock's staff. That's all, Bob. Here I am. Execution at dawn. Well, we'll eat up this butter candy before that...
What do you hear, Colonel Washington?
Colonel Washington?
Yeah.
Well, Boone,
Well, what, Colonel?
I thought you'd like to know you'll not be executed in the morning.
Well, that gives him a lot more time to eat this butter candy. Have some, Colonel.
I beg your pardon.
Well, don't have any then.
As I was saying, Boone,
Yes, Colonel?
your name earlier this evening during that unfortunate contretemps had a familiar ring to me. I'd heard it somewhere before, though I couldn't exactly say where. It bothered me somewhat, and so I've been making inquiries among the men. I've discovered, Boone, that you enjoy a certain fame as a hunter and Indian scout. Your fellows are decidedly lavish in their praise of your ability. They say, in fact, that you're even superior to Longbow Billy, the celebrated frontiersman.
That's a lie. Ain't nobody superior to Longbow Billy.
I beg your pardon.
Excuse me, Colonel, but this is Longbow Billy.
This?
What's the matter with this?
I've always thought Longbow Billy was a much younger man.
Got to shake off this beat. I just got to do it. The time has come. I tell you.
Well, interesting, very well. Well, to get on, Boone. Your fellows, as I say, were extraordinarily lavish in their praise of your ability.
I don't figure there's any praise due me, Colonel. I lived most of my life in the woods. I just naturally like to hunt. That's about all there is to it.
On the contrary, I'm inclined to think there's a good deal more to it. Be that as it may, Boone, I communicated this information to General Braddock, together with a suggestion that he has seen fit to adopt.
I feared I'm not following your drift, Colonel.
You will. Mr. Franklin, I believe you know him.
Ben Franklin? Sure.
Mr. Franklin has promised General Braddock that he will assemble 150 wagons loaded with supplies at a point near Philadelphia within 10 days. The problem was how those wagons were to be transported here safely. Beaujeu and his redskins are sure to find out about them and make a very serious attempt to stop and capture them.
They sure are. Well, where do I come in, Colonel?
I assured General Braddock that if anyone could get those wagons safely through, Daniel Boone could.
It's a long shot, sir.
Is the try worth your life?
My life?
At my suggestion, General Braddock has granted you a stay of execution. He will give you word to make no attempt to escape. If you bring those wagons through, Boone, the order for your execution will be forgotten.
Yeah, get yourself shot at dawn, Daniel. It'll be over quickly.
Really?
Longbow's probably right, Colonel. There isn't a chance of getting those wagons through.
I think there is, if you lead them.
I don't know.
Well, I do. You try leading 150 wagons loaded with supplies from the wilderness from Philadelphia, and you'll wind up with Beaujeu's Injuns boiling you alive. Better to get shot by a firing squad. Nice and neat. I know what I'm talking about.
Longbow's right, Colonel. There's no chance at all of getting those wagons through.
You've got to get them through, Boone.
What?
I don't know how to say it, but we've got to win against the French at Duquesne. And we can't win without supplies. We need someone like you. Perhaps you won't get through, but, Boone, you've got to try.
What's the matter to us who wins? All we wanted was to be let alone, to hunt and fish and make our living where we found it in the woods. If the English win, the woods will still be there. If the French win, the way Braddock's drilling his troops, they're sure to win. The woods will still be there. So what's the matter to us?
For that matter, what does it matter to me?
Huh?
I don't know how to explain it. Matters, that's all. Boone, will you do it?
On one condition, Colonel.
Name it.
Longbow Billy goes with me.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that can be arranged.
It'll have to be, Colonel. I wouldn't figure on a trip like this without somebody I can depend on.
I understand. Very well, Boone. Longbow Billy goes with you.
What, me? Me get boiled in oil instead of killed nice and neat by a firing squad?
Take it easy, Longbow.
Ah.
All right, Colonel Washington, we'll try it.
I knew I could count on you. You leave in the morning. Good luck.
Yeah.
Well, what?
Looks like we've got ourselves into something.
We got ourselves into something. You got me into this.
Well, better than the firing squad.
I don't know. Them engines ain't too bad by themselves. When they get messed up with the French, giggle water and all that, I don't know.
Well, you're right. Well, Longbow, you don't have to go. It's up to you. What do you say?
Have some butter candy, Dan.
Danger and plenty of it lies ahead for Daniel Boone and Longbow Billy. Will their skill as woodsmen, their cunning as scouts, bring those wagons and themselves through safely thrills, and tense adventure await us tomorrow, so be sure to be with us then for the next stirring episode in this saga of American history. For remember...
In Cherokee, it's...
Kapringa, Wakima!
In Sioux, it's... In Pawnee, it's... And in American, it's...
Daniel Boone, Indian Scout.
Gentlemen, you have just heard the first program of Daniel Boone, Indian Scout. You could have been listening to the 100th, if you know what I mean, and I think you do.
Hi there, this is Bill Bragg, the man with a million friends, and you're listening to The Glowing Dial with my good friends Big John and Steve, right here, right now, on Yesterday, USA.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bill. That was Daniel Boone, audition program from August 16th, 1948. And we got another show coming up here. Steve, what are you doing over there?
I'm over by the tree here.
Oh, all right. Yes, as we tape this, Christmas still has not arrived. And Steve is all of a sudden sitting over here by the tree, and I'm wondering why.
I've named the tree Spock.
He's named our Christmas tree, or my Christmas tree. That's nice.
Yes.
What brought you to that?
Well,
conclusion, sir.
The tree talks.
It talks.
Yes.
Oh, gee, we have a magic radio, now we have a talking Christmas tree, folks.
Would you like to hear it say something?
Okay, Steve's going to do a ventriloquist bit or something silly here.
Shuttlecraft to Enterprise. Shuttlecraft to Enterprise. Spock here. Happy holidays. Live long and prosper.
Well, my God, I didn't think it was possible.
See? The tree talks.
Yes, it does. Now you may take your regular seat, you mutton head. It is time to go into our next program here.
One of these times we're going to have musical chairs, and I'm not going to have a chair to sit in because John will have pulled it away before I had a chance to sit in it.
We need lav microphones, lavalier type.
Yeah. That way I could travel all around the apartment here.
We both need wireless lavalier mics. If you'd like to donate them, send them to the Glowing Dial.
It would make a wonderful Christmas gift, but unfortunately it's like after Christmas.
Yeah, well, I'm not soliciting anybody send us those things.
Nah,
unless you
we're
really
kidding.
Want to, you know? It's the Glowing Dial, 2912. Please introduce our next program, sir.
Program? This
Yes,
is Big John. John, program.
Oh! Excuse me.
Oh, that's not what you meant. Oh.
There, take that.
Ow. And I just had my surgery. Ow.
No, you were about to. When I get through with you, you'll need more than that. But anyway, New Year's type program we have.
Yes, in celebrating the new year, which
at least it has
which
New
is
Year
upon
in
us
its
now
title,
anyway.
so.
Quiet Please is the name of it. Oh, good. I get to do the rest of the show because John can't talk now.
Wrong.
Oh. It's the name of the show. Quiet Please.
Intro the silly show, would you please?
Episode is called Rain on New Year's Eve, which it very well might do this year. You never know. It's been pretty warm lately. It's dated 12/29, which is, December 29th, 1947.
That was up. All right, well, if you reach over to the McGee machine and warm him up once more, he should be pretty warmed up by now.
Ooh, it is hot.
Oh, yeah. I won't go there. Anyway, sit
feel
back.
the top of this thing. It is hot.
Close your eyes, sit back, and remember, quiet please, rain on New Year's Eve. And we'll be back to close the show.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please. The Mutual Broadcasting System presents Quiet, Please, which is written and directed by Willis Cooper and which features Ernest Chappell. Quiet, Please for tonight is called
Rain on New Year's Eve. It's raining again. Pretty near New Year's, and it's raining again. Back east, it's probably snowing different places. Or maybe the moon's out, shining on the snow, and people are saying, why, it's so bright out you can read a newspaper. They can't read a newspaper by moonlight, only the headlines. Maybe if you take your newspaper out in the yard and stand in the moonlight, you might find a headline with my name in it. It's been there before. Well, anyway, so there's moonlight. Here, there's rain. Like it was that other New Year's Eve. That's what the rain makes me think of. As if I ever thought of anything else. Listen to the rain. I was sitting in my office in the writer's court out there after we'd been on the picture for 2 or 3 months. Writing it, that is. They'd been shooting for about 3 weeks, but I was still on the picture because we had a producer that couldn't make up his mind, and the director was one of those guys, sort of road company Hitchcock, you know. He makes the picture up as he goes along. Only there has to be a writer filed away someplace where he can find him when he runs out of ideas, which is not more than 11 times a day. So I'm dying. I go on the set and I find actors there I never heard of, speaking lines I never wrote, in scenes I couldn't figure out. Then the director would get me in a corner and put the arm on me. This thing doesn't seem to quite gel, old man. You know? And me and my little typewriter go to work to unscrew things while the overtime and the gin rummy games go right on. Great life, that. Well, so I'm sitting in my office and the rain is on the roof and the gas heater is frying my ankles while the draft from the window is giving my neck the deep freeze. Mary Lou, my secretary, comes in from her little cubbyhole next to mine.
When do I get to do my Christmas shopping, Mr. Ramsey?
You don't get to do your Christmas shopping, Mary Lou.
Yes, I know. I didn't.
What?
Christmas was 2 days ago, Mr. Ramsey.
Was? Well, Merry Christmas.
Are we ever going to finish this picture, for heaven's sake?
Well, I'll tell you, Angel. Mr. Doty, the great director, is getting $3,500 a week.
I know it.
And, my dear, Mr. Doty has not got $3,500 a week for a long, long time, see?
Mm-hmm.
So Mr. Doty, the great director, is going to make $3,500 a week just as long as he possibly can, and characters like us can, you know what.
That man.
I have a different word for him, sweetheart. But as I was saying, if we leave it to Mr. Doty, this here picture ain't never going to be finished. 100 years from now, somebody will come upstairs here and they'll find an old man with a long white beard beating out the 59th revision of scene 456, and in the next room a little apple-cheeked old lady.
Oh, cut it out.
Yeah.
Oh, when are they going to finish it? No kidding.
New Year's Eve.
Well, maybe there'll be champagne and stuff on the set.
Yeah, no doubt. For the expensive actors and the producers and the fine, upstanding director. For you and me, a nice bottle of 60-cent claret imported from right over there on Ventura Boulevard.
You're so funny.
On the contrary.
Well, I'm getting awful sick of this, Mr. Ramsey. We've had to work every single night for the last 4 weeks. Do you realize that?
You kidding? Do I realize it? Go get me some coffee, will you, kid? I gotta stay awake for Mr. Doty.
Coffee. I bet you and I could be elected president of Brazil, all the coffee we've put away.
Answer the phone.
It's Doty.
Well, we gotta be dignified.
Oh, Lord. Mr. Ramsey's office. Who's calling, please? Oh, yes, Mr. Doty. He's here.
I'm always here. Ramsey. Yes, Mr. Doty. What seems to be the trouble? I see. Yes, I see, but Mr. Doty, Well, that'd mean rewriting practically all the... Well, yes, I know. I mean... But what do you gain that way? What? 2 monsters? Well, what's 2 monsters got that 1 monster hasn't? Oh, yeah, sure, but who scares who? Whom, I mean. But, Mr. Doty, I saw a picture once with 2 monsters in it, and it was silly. What? Oh, you directed it. I'll be right over. Skip the coffee, Mary Lou.
2 monsters?
2. Count 'em 2. And I'll lay you 6-2 and even, that by the time I get to the stage, you'll be hollering for 3.
Take your raincoat. It's raining pitchforks.
Maybe one of them will stab me. I better tell you about this monster stuff. This was a horror picture, you see. Kind of the poor man's Frankenstein. Yeah, they couldn't get Karloff, naturally, and they couldn't use the Frankenstein monster makeup because Jack Pierce over at Universal invented that. I guess Universal owned it. So they had me dream up a monster. And boy, did I dream one up. There's an old book. It's called... No, I guess I won't tell you what it's called. Well, you don't want to take those old books too seriously. So I kind of swiped this monster out of the book. Well, you'll never see the picture, I suppose, so maybe I better tell you a little about him. No, I guess I won't either. He was the most horrible monster I ever saw, no kidding. And what the makeup department did with my sketch and my description. Oh, boy. Just one thing I'll tell you about him, and you can figure out the rest for yourself. He didn't have any face. You take it from there. But don't kid yourself. He was a thing. They got Ollie Tharp to play the goon. Nice fella, quiet, always grinning, modest. Good actor. Last guy in the world you'd expect to play a monster. Oh, yeah, sure. Karloff did the Frankenstein thing, and he's the mildest-mannered guy in the world. I remember him on the Son of Frankenstein set years ago in his monster suit all gray and green, showing pictures of his new baby to people. That's a laugh. Well, I guess monsters are human sometimes, huh? And maybe humans are... Yeah. Well, all right. I spend 3 hours listening to Mr. Doty run off at the mouth with the whole company having the screaming memes over all this nonsense. It's 5 minutes to 12 when he finally decides to quit and everybody goes home. They're all burned at Doty, but well, they'll wake up in the morning, remember the overtime, and they'll feel better. Me? Writers don't get overtime. So I get back to the writer's court and the light's burning in the window and Mary Lou is snoring away with her face in a stack of carbon paper. She wakes up and asks me a question.
How many monsters now?
We got 4 now, I say, including me. So the next morning it's not raining anymore. The sun is shining bright and you can see snow on top of the mountains, and it's a very nice day. And monsters are pretty hazy in my mind as I pick up my copy of the Reporter and head for the rickety stairway to my palatial office. I'll tell you how much good the sunshine did me. I was whistling as I climbed up the stairs and opened the door.
You might as well turn off the whistle. Mr. Doty's looking for you.
And now what?
He says it's very important.
2 more monsters.
Your coffee's on your desk.
Steaming cold, no doubt.
I just brought it up. Give me 15 cents.
It's your turn to buy this morning.
I bought yesterday.
All right, all right. Hello? No, he isn't here yet. Go ahead.
Mr. Ramsey's office. Yes, Mr. Doty.
Morning, Mr. Doty. How are you? Oh? No kidding. Why, that's fun. What? Oh, of course. Yuck, 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 yuck. Yes, sure.
What's up?
Why, sure, Mr. Doty. Yes, sir, I'll be right over.
What?
He has to finish the picture definitely by 12 midnight, December 31st.
Oh, that's what you said last night.
Well, I was kidding. You know how it goes in the story.
I forgot.
Well, I mean the way it was originally. You know, this monster only has power the last hour of the year.
Oh, yes.
Remember it was a New Year's party, the whole picture?
It's been so long ago, I forgot how we started.
Well, don't you remember our big payoff scene? She thinks the monster is her wicked uncle?
Who thinks?
You know, the babe with the teeth. The goon girl with a blue dress.
Oh, yes.
Remember, she thinks the monster is her uncle and she tries to rip his mask off and it ain't a mask?
So Something like
And the
that.
house is on fire, and he grabs her and runs inside the house, and our hero busts in after her and rescues her. Some way I never had a chance to figure out.
Well, how would he do it without his glasses? He'd fall over the stoop.
What stoop? There's hundreds of them in pictures.
Drink your coffee and go see Mr. Doty. Maybe he's changed his mind.
I can't change his mind. The front office put the big fat arm on him, or else. Whoopee, baby, 3 days and we can sit down and rest.
Away from this place.
You can say that again. Tell him I ain't here. Well, sir, that sunshine looked better than ever to me. But when the big door of the stage swung shut behind me, the sunshine sure disappeared. Well, Mr. Doty was an unhappy man. Well, 3 more days and there wouldn't be any more of those $3,500 is. And he didn't like it a little bit. And guess who he took it out on?
This is the worst story I ever had to work with. It positively smells bad.
I didn't say. It's your story, Mr. Doty. All I got left is a monster, and he'll probably turn out to be Santa Claus or somebody.
If you listened to me when I told you how to do it.
I didn't say. I listened to you, Mr. Doty, and now look what we got.
Now I have to give up my beautiful idea of having 3 monsters instead of 1.
Because then we'd have had to reshoot practically the whole picture, and you'd have made another $1 million. I didn't say that either.
So, if you think you could possibly dredge up your original script, I think I can possibly make it into an acceptable B picture. Although that's a task even for a director like me.
Mr. Doty doesn't realize what an unconscious humorist he is. That guy could make a B picture out of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, even if he had the original cast.
So get to work. Get to work and do something. Have I got to do everything around here? Get a move on you.
Oh, I got a move on me. Even if you think I disliked that guy up to now. What he did to me the last 2 days.
You've got to get some sleep somehow. You've been on your feet for almost 2 days, Mr. Ramsey.
Yeah. Where were we?
Scene 168, long shot interior mansion night. From the top of the stairway, a figure appears indistinct in the shadows. We sense, rather than see, the twisted evil form of the monster as he peers over the balustrade. From the foreground right, the butler appears and starts slowly up the stairway. As he reaches the 4th or 5th step, the camera starts to move in to follow him. We cram up the stairs, and the camera holds on the last 3 steps as the butler reaches the top. Cut to... Hey, wake up.
I'm sorry. Where were we?
Ramsey, you've got to get some sleep. Lie down for 10 minutes.
Gee, I'd sure like to.
Mr. Ramsey's office.
I'm not here.
Yes, Mr. Doty.
All right. Hello? Yes? Sure. I'll be right over.
Oh, Mr. Ramsey, I was...
You know what, Mary Lou?
Oh, put on your coat. It's raining again.
You know what?
What?
I wish I was a monster. You know, I was a tired little fellow. I didn't have any Thanksgiving. I ate a bent ham sandwich in my office that day because Mr. Doty had to have 3 new scenes Friday morning. He called me at the office to see how I was doing. He'd just finished his Thanksgiving dinner. I didn't have any Christmas. I locked the door of my office and ate my brains out on a whole new sequence Mr. Doty had thought up. All around me, people were drinking whiskey and chasing each other through the corridors and up and down the stairs. I didn't have any Sundays, and I didn't have any evenings. I, my friend, damn near lost my mind. All the time, Mr. Doty. Wow. It's no wonder that by New Year's Eve I was ready to hire a man with a cleaver to extirpate the guy. But I didn't. Nope, I sure didn't. At 9 o'clock, he called me over to the set again. Could I rewrite some dialogue? Well, I crossed him up on that one. I threw out the hash he'd made of my original dialogue and substituted what I'd originally written. It played okay. After 7 different takes, all exactly alike. I went back to my office in the rain.
Mr. Ramsey's office. Yes, Mr. Doty. Yes, Mr. Doty. I'll tell him. Mr. Ramsey.
I heard you.
He needs you right away again.
Okay.
Oh, you poor thing.
Only another couple hours. Hope I can take it.
Take your raincoat. It's raining cats and dogs.
You're telling me. That time it was a little piece of action he couldn't get through his ivory head. I explained it in words of one syllable, carefully avoiding the four-letter ones. He thanked me, old boy, and I went out into the rain again. Rain. Oh, what rain in California can do to you. I heard of a fellow that jumped into the Los Angeles River once after a week of rain. Ordinarily, he'd break his ankle, but he drowned. You know, it just comes down steadily. Well, I know I could probably be a lot more graphic than that, but that's all there is to rain in California. It comes down steadily. Ice cold. Steadily. Yeah. Of course, it always stops about the time you've decided to start out on foot for the east. The sun shines and poinsettias bloom and the hills are green. Oh, man, it's wonderful. I guess they have the rain like hitting yourself on the head with a hammer. It feels so good when you stop. Yeah, that's a bum gag, but I was a pretty beat-up character. 3 more times that New Year's Eve. In the rain. The guy getting meaner and meaner each time. Well, at least it was going to be over pretty soon. It was 10 minutes to 11 when I came into the office and Mary Lou took my coat from me.
You've just got to get a little sleep, Ramsey. Now, you sit down at your desk and put your head down and catch 40 winks.
Thanks, Mary Lou. Oh, if I had to see that man just one more time tonight, I would be responsible. I'm not kidding.
I know. You go to sleep.
Well, kid, you're as all in as I am.
Well, at least I don't have to face him.
He's got to stop at midnight. As soon as he's through, should you and me go someplace and have a New Year's drink?
I don't know whether I could keep awake.
Well, let's try, huh?
Okay.
Anybody ever tell you you're a nice gal?
Couple of people.
I could marry a gal like you.
Don't kid people, Ramsey.
I'm not.
See how you feel when you wake up.
I think I love you.
I wish you meant that, Ramsey.
I do. Kiss it from me good night.
Ramsey, you're sweet.
Kiss me good night. I'm sorry.
Go to sleep.
So I went to sleep. And I dreamed. Even when I was asleep, I couldn't get that guy Doty off my mind. I dreamed I was on the set. I dreamed they were shooting the last scene, the one where the monster comes closer and closer to the camera till that head of his without any face fills the whole screen. You know how it is in dreams. You're here, and then all of a sudden you're there, and you're one guy, and then you're another, and it's all mixed up. Yeah. I could see the set, and I could hear Doty call out.
Quiet! Rolling. Action!
Then I could see this faceless monster coming out of the shadows. Slowly, right up to the camera where George Robinson was standing, as tired as everybody else. And I thought to myself, if the audience had any idea that little old milquetoast Allie Tharp was inside that monster rig, they'd bust. And in the dream, I saw Doty jumping up and down in one of those silly rages of his, and he yelled,
Cut! Get back there, pry it over. You've got about as much minute as Ramsey over there.
Even in my dreams, he was picking on me. And so they started all over again. My dream got kind of mixed up all right there, and I sort of seemed to be following the monster because I could see Doty's face right in front of me as the monster moved in. When Doty yelled, cut again, the monster and I didn't stop. I just sort of seemed to follow him right on, farther and farther. I saw the monster's big, hairy hand grab Dodie, and Dodie screamed. And the monster's hands were fumbling at Dodie's neck. Dodie was fighting, and I saw Dodie bite the monster's hand. It was so real I could almost feel it. And then everything got black in my dream, and there were a lot of bells ringing, and well, that's what woke me up. So I raised my head, and of course, there I was in my office. And I pulled myself out of it a little, and well, I knew what the bells were. They were bells ringing in the new year. The rain was hammering on the roof, and it was tomorrow. So I got up and hollered for Mary Lou. Mary Lou! Hey, Happy New Year, Mary Lou! And she didn't answer. I stepped through the door into her little office. And she was lying on the floor behind her desk. And the look on her face was something I never want to see again. It was a look of the most awful horror anybody could imagine. The kind of look you'd expect to see on the face of someone who'd been literally frightened to death by a monster who had no face at all. So I stood there. After a few seconds, I heard people yelling outside, and I heard somebody yell that Holly Tharp had killed Dodie. Somebody else said, no, Holly Tharp was dead, too, with a broken neck in his dressing room. And my hand hurt. When I raised my hand to look at it, right across the thick of my palm were teeth marks. Deep, bloody teeth marks where Dodie had bit me when I strangled him. So you see, that's why I say never take any of those old books too seriously. Remember I said I wished I was a monster? Remember what the book said? The monster only possessed his murderous power for 1 hour, the last hour of the year. New Year's Eve again, and it's raining. Got anybody you want murdered?
You have listened to Quiet Please, which is written and directed by Willis Cooper. The man who spoke to you was Ernest Chappell.
And Muriel Kirkland was Mary Lou. Pat O'Malley was Dodie. Music for Quiet Please is composed and played by Albert Berman. Now, for a word about next week's Quiet Please, here is our writer-director, my good friend, Willis Cooper.
I have a story for you next week about a man who was haunted. It's called The Little Visitor.
And so, until next week at this time, I am quietly yours, Ernest Chappell.
Quiet Please comes to you from New York. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Hi, this is Frank Brzee, Little Beaver on Old Time Radio's Red Rider. You're listening to The Glowing Dial with your hosts Big John and Steve, heard exclusively on Yesterday USA Radio.
All right, and we are back with you. That was Quiet Please, Rain on New Year's Eve from December 29th, 1947. And that brings us just about to the close of another Glowing Dial program. And Steve's just over there, mellow, not saying anything.
I'm thinking about my surgery.
Yes. Well, actually, by the time folks hear this program,
it will have already happened.
Yes, so you might want to enlighten them a little bit,
but
so at least they can...
as we're recording it, it hasn't happened yet.
Send you a get well card, perhaps.
Yes. I have a deviated septum. I'm a deviant, yes.
Well, I've known that for years, pal, I'll tell you.
And I get headaches in the wintertime, so they're going to correct it. So
okay.
It's not supposedly a serious surgical thing. It's like an inpatient. I'm in for, they said, up maximum of 6 hours and get back out and whatever. So I'm just hoping everything goes all right.
We all hope so, too, let me tell you.
I might even sound different, too, they said after, so who knows.
You might be
I might even have a different
little
voice.
less nasally, perhaps? Or
Yeah.
Less or more, do you think?
No less, probably, because the sinus passages are too narrow. They're going to open them up a bit.
So you're not able to breathe too well through the nose, then? It's because of that.
I've never had any problem breathing, but I just sound nasally. That's, you know.
Okay. Well, anyway, we do wish you the best. I mean, I have been under the knife myself, not for that, but for a broken ankle. That's why I've got that hunk of metal in my right ankle. And want to see the scar?
I bet the viewers or listeners did not know anything about that.
Yeah, but I can't show the scar. We're on radio. If
Oh.
you'd like to see a picture of my scar, send a stamped envelope to... No, actually, speaking of contacting us, folks, a good friend of ours is standing by to tell us, to tell you, actually, we know how to do it already, but it'd be silly for us to write to ourselves.
I do all the time.
That's the only way I can get an email is right to myself. But anyway, a good friend of ours here is standing by to tell you how you can get in touch with us.
This is Fred Foy, here to tell you how you can get in touch with the Glowing Dial. Big John and Steve want to hear from you. They'd like your comments and suggestions and any requests you may have. You can contact them by any of the following means. Send email to glowdial@ix.netcom.com or by phone by calling 810-774-0112. That's 810-774-0112. Or send snail mail to the Glowing Dial, 29121 Lund, Warren, Michigan 48093. Write or call now. Big John and Steve are waiting to hear from you.
It's a beautiful day. Spend it right here with Yesterday USA Superstation.
Well, that's going to do it for us this time around, folks. Hope you've enjoyed the program and hope you will be with us next time around. Like I said, we're going to get caught up on our letters next time around. We have a few of those to read. And by that time, Mr. Urbanik should be over his surgery and hopefully back to his happy, smart alecky self.
As if I wasn't already now. But
yes, I wonder if this operation will change your personality. Or perhaps give you one. Anyway,
cheap joke. Ooh,
I got it from Chris.
Groan.
That's an in-joke, folks.
Yes, I hope the listeners will be with us next year, too.
Well, yes.
Happy 1998, folks.
That's something we neglected to say. Happy New Year, and all the best to you and yours in 1998 from Big John and Steve and the Glowing Dial.
And the McGee Machine.
And the McGee Machine.
And our tree called Spock.
And Spock the
Down,
talking
Spock, down.
And Spock the talking Christmas tree.
He's with us for a short time. He goes back after Christmas.
Yes. He gets taken down and put into the closet. Then next year around this time he comes out of the closet.
It's an enterprising incident.
Join us next year at this time when Spock comes out of the closet. Never mind. No. That's the episode of Star Trek you never saw. Bill's going to kick us off the air in a minute, folks. So keep a positive thought, keep looking up, and we'll see you on the radio. Bye-bye.